This is my favorite vintage bolero, and this is a copy of it that I sewed after turning this into a sewing pattern for myself. If you have an existing garment that you love, particularly a vintage one, you can duplicate it by making a sewing pattern, and without taking the garment apart. I'm going to show you how in this tutorial. Knit fabric garments are more forgiving than wovens, usually with simpler shapes and less elements like darts and pleats, so they're a great place to start if you want to copy a garment. I'm going to show you exactly how I copied my sweater knit bolero to turn it into a sewing pattern so I could make as many versions of it as I want. With this method, you don't even need anything special, just one pin, some paper, and a pencil, and a basic understanding of how to sew a garment, since essentially we're going to be drafting our own pattern. That's why it's great to start with a simple shaped garment like this. First, let's take a look at our garment to orient ourselves to what we're going to need to copy. This is a cut-on sleeve bolero with the sleeves growing out from the body. And I have one full entire back piece here. And I have two fronts. And we've got sleeve cuffs, and then also one band that goes up and around the entire front. There are different ways to copy an existing garment, but I like that this method is pretty quick and actually kind of fun. Before we get going, I want to look at the back, since as I mentioned, the back is all one entire piece. I can approach this from two ways. Either when I copy this, I can fold the garment at what would be the center back, because we'll make our piece to cut on the fold, or I can mark that center back line. Since this is a little bit of a thicker fabric, I think it'll be more accurate if I mark that line. And I'll use that as a reference point for when I'm tracing. You can either chalk this line or thread baste it if you want, or just pin baste it like I'm doing here. I'm just using a ruler to kind of line everything up. Now let's set ourselves up to trace. We just need a soft surface for this method. On your work surface, you can put down a few folded layers of fabric or a towel, or even better, if you're a knitter and have foam blocking mats, or if you have foam play mats for your kids, those are perfect for this. So I'll be using my blocking mats. On top of your soft work surface, you'll then lay out whatever type of paper you want to trace your pattern pieces onto. I'll link what I use in the description. But you could use butcher paper, craft paper, whatever. On top of your paper, you're now going to lay out your garment after you decide which piece you're going to trace first. Since I marked the center back of my bolero, I'm going to go with the back. Keep in mind, if you're tracing a larger garment, you might need to tape together your paper first for what will be your larger pattern pieces. As we get ready to learn how to trace a garment like this, it reminds me that there's always something new to discover with sewing. And for a great resource to continue that learning, check out today's video sponsor, National Sewing Circle. National Sewing Circle is an online hub for everything sewing. They have videos and tips on tons of sewing-related topics, taught by friendly sewing experts who walk you through step by step. Some of the videos are just a few minutes long, so they're great for picking up quick new skills or refreshing your memory. They have a wide range of topics from essential sewing skills to pattern drafting and grading. I love that they have an entire category of finishing touches to elevate your project. You know, it's the little things. And there's lots of projects to explore too. For example, I love that there's a video on how to make an all-in-one pincushion thread catcher. I really want to make one because I just use a little bucket with a dent in it where I dropped a shelf on it. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the video description will get a full year of premium membership to National Sewing Circle for only $1.49. Valid for new members only. Check it out today. They're always creating new premium videos to keep you inspired. Thanks to National Sewing Circle for sponsoring this video. So I have my back facing me, which I'll copy first to make my back pattern piece. Lay your garment out nice and flat along the seams. We want our copy to be as accurate as possible, but this is one of the areas when it's nice to be working with more forgiving stretch knit fabrics. If you have an area of your garment that's kind of thicker, like a bulky intersection, or for mine, the top of my neckline here, since this is a knit fabric and there's a band for the neckline, so it's kind of dense, you can pin it together to flatten it. Once you have this laid out perfectly flat along the seams, now the fun starts. You're just going to take a pin and poke through the garment along each seam line. That includes along the band at the neckline, and down at the waist, and my sleeve band, and also pinning down the center back line that I marked earlier, which will also be my fold line. And this is why we needed a soft surface to make little pinholes into our paper. In the straighter sections, you can just pin about every inch or so. You don't need them to be too close together here, and we'll true up these lines in a bit. In the curved sections though, you probably want to poke through a bit closer together to line everything up, because essentially what we're going to do next is play a big game of connect the dots. My bolero has a sleeve band and a band across the back neckline that continues down to the waistline, so don't forget, if you have bands anywhere, you don't want to pin on the outside of those since they're separate pattern pieces that we'll make. Instead, do it right through the seam line between the band and the garment. On the outside seams, like a side seam or my shoulder seam, if your seam line is right at the edge, you could just trace that with a pencil instead, but depending on what you're using below it, you might rip through the paper, so I'm just continuing around the outside too, poking with my pin. When you're done poking through every seam line of your pattern piece, go ahead and remove your garment, and while it's going to be really hard to see until we get up close, you'll now have a lovely little line of holes outlining what's going to be your pattern piece, without seam allowances just yet. Switch back to your hard surface now, and we're going to connect the dots. I would normally use a pencil for this, but I wanted you to see what I was doing. You may need to fine-tune your lines a little bit with a straight ruler or a curved ruler, depending on the shape of your pattern piece. For example, my shoulder line was a little bit wonky because I was trying to make my copy without getting my head in the video, so your results will probably be a bit more accurate. Now we need to add seam allowances, since we did this right on the seam lines. And whatever you use for a seam allowance is up to you. I went with 3/8 of an inch. Anywhere that there was a seam, you'll need to add a seam allowance. But this is my back piece, don't forget, and I'll be cutting it on the fold, so I'm not adding a seam allowance to the center back. Then once I have that all done, I can cut out my pattern piece. And then I just need to add in all my markings, like noting that this piece needs to be cut on the fold, which will also be my grain line, and labeling that this is my back piece and I need to cut 1 on the fold, and also including my seam allowance. And here's my finished back piece. Ta-da! Back to our soft work surface and another piece of tracing paper to move on to the next piece, which in my case will be the bolero front. And again, I just want to lay this out nice and flat. For a cut-on sleeve like this, or really any piece that has a really long seam, it's a good idea to take the time to kind of cross-check the long seam, in my case the shoulder seam, particularly for a stretch knit fabric, to kind of just make sure that you're on track and both are the same length. After we cut out the front, you'll want to walk the seam lines to make sure everything will match up when you sew, but it helps to double check that now. And now with our front all nicely laid out, it is time to poke around the seams again. Now remember, my bolero has a couple of bands, particularly this one that goes around the entire opening. So don't forget, if you have bands like that, you want to poke your pin right at the seam line between the band and the garment. Go all the way around the piece carefully again, poking down through the paper every inch or so right at the seam lines, and a little bit more in the curved or shaped sections if you want to. And just like for the back piece, once I'm done, I can remove my garment again to reveal my little outline of dots, which will become my pattern piece, and you can't see those dots until I imitate it on the screen. Now when you're doing pieces that are going to be sewed together, like a front and a back, before you add the seam allowances to the next piece, it's a good idea to walk the seam lines to make sure that everything is going to match up and the same length along a seam, because if it's not, this is the time to fix it. You don't want to find out as you're pinning your fabric pieces together that your back is accidentally an inch longer than your front. And since we have our seam line traced on the back, and we've just traced it for the front, this is actually pretty easy. So you just basically walk the seam line and follow any curves, try and eyeball this a little bit, and see if the length is the same. And it looks like for mine, I'm pretty close given that I'm trying to do this with a marker so that you can see this better. But I'm only probably about 1/4 of an inch off. So I could shorten the back by 1/4 of an inch or lengthen the front by 1/4 of an inch to make that seam the same length on both pieces. And once you're happy that your seams are lined up, add your seam allowances on this piece next. In the case of my front bolero piece, that will be on every edge since I'll have a shoulder seam and an underarm/side seam, and then the seam for my band at the front and at the sleeve edge too. And then you can cut it out and don't mind my heating vent blowing my pattern piece as I go. Then you just need to do your pattern markings again for the front piece. And I also need to add my grain line. You can mark the grain line separately with pins or basting on the front like you did on the back, but I have a really easy to tell fabric where the grain line is, and so I can see it's parallel on the back to the front. So all I'll have to do is basically line up my back and front pieces and trace my grain line from the back to the front. And then add my other markings, like noting my seam allowance and labeling the piece. If you wanted, you could also add in notches in longer seams if that helps you in the construction. We're getting close. I have my back and my front pattern pieces, and now I need to do my sleeve cuffs and the band that goes around the entire front and back neckline and back waistline. A typical knit band is just basically a rectangle, even if you're applying it around a curve like this. So I don't need to trace it, but I do need to figure out how wide we want it and how long it needs to be. I'll start with the sleeve cuff. So from the seam line of your garment, measure how wide your band is. And mine is 1 inch and 1/8. And then we need to add in a seam allowance. Mine is 3/8 of an inch, so that total is 1.5 inches. But you fold a knit band in half to achieve that final width of the band, so I want to double this. So that's 3 inches. And that's how wide or tall I need my rectangle to be. But now we need to know how long to make it. I could do this from the original garment, but since I'm actually sewing from my new pattern pieces that I made, I'll measure from these. So I just need to add the length along the seam lines, not including the seam allowances, on the front and the back together. That's 5 inches and 5¼ inches for mine, so 10¼ inches total. We'll wait a second for the seam allowance. Knit bands are typically up to 20% smaller than the seam they're attached to, so you stretch them a little bit when sewing. I'd probably do 20% smaller if I was using more of a t-shirt knit, but I'm usually using something that's more of a stable and thick knit for this bolero, so I'm just going to make it 10% less. You can always sew the band with a wider seam allowance when it comes time to assembling if you feel like it needs to be a little bit smaller. So 10% off the length of the band is about 1 inch, so I subtract that from the length to get 9¼ inches. And now we need to add 2 seam allowances since you sew those ends together, and you can see my original bolero needs a little bit of TLC. I need to take some time to fix this. But you sew them together, so you need a seam allowance on either end. So that's 9¼ inches long plus 3/8 of an inch plus 3/8 of an inch for my 2 seam allowances, and that's 10 inches. So my total rectangular band piece for my sleeve cuff will be 3 inches by 10 inches. So I just need to make myself a pattern piece that is 3 inches by 10 inches and add my markings. This was my original one, and I also added myself a short note that said I fold the short sides together and sew at my seam allowance, and then after that I fold the long sides together and sew it onto the garment, just as a little reminder to myself. And all we have left is this long band around the opening. Again, we need both the width and the length. This band is the same width as my sleeve cuff was, but if it was wider or narrower, you'd calculate the width exactly as we did for the sleeve band. So we need to figure out the total length of this. So we need to measure the front curved edge and the back neckline and the back waistline. With a flexible measuring tape right at the seam line, I'm going to measure along the front curved edge. That totals 18¾ of an inch. Because there's a left and a right front, we need to double that, which is 37½ inches. Then I need to measure the back neckline, and we'll also double this because the back piece is cut on the fold. So that's 3 inches times 2 to double it, so 6 inches for the back neckline. And last, we'll measure the back waistline. And again, this is also cut on the fold, so that's 8 inches times 2 to double it, so 16 inches for the back waistline. So let's add all of that up. 37.5 inches for the fronts, 6 inches for the back neckline, 16 inches for the back waistline, and that's 59.5 inches total. Don't forget, I want this about 10% shorter. So 59.5 inches times 10% is about 6 inches. So I'll just subtract 6 inches from 59.5, and that's 53.5. But we also need 2 seam allowances to sew the band together. So I'll add 53.5 inches plus 3/8 inch seam allowance plus 3/8 inch seam allowance, and that's 54.25 inches. That's pretty long, and it might not fit on your fabric. If so, you're going to need to add in another seam somewhere in your band and piece it together. When I traced my vintage bolero originally, that's what I did. I made a separate band piece just for the back waistline, and I did it cutting on the fold. And then I sewed that to the much longer band piece, again cut on the fold, for the front and the back neckline. And you can see that on this version that I sewed from my original trace pattern in this kind of jacquard bubble knit fabric. I have my band going up and around the front and the back neckline, and then I have a seam at both ends of the waistline. If you want to do something similar like that, just make sure to add in a seam allowance anywhere you're going to be seaming your bands together. So if I were doing that for this version, I would have instead just added up the fronts and the back neckline together only and added 2 seam allowances to make one band piece. And then I would have taken my back waistline separately and again added 2 seam allowances to that to make my second band piece. And then those bands would be sewed together along the short ends, just like I did here. Keep in mind, since you're creating your own sewing pattern, you can make adjustments. Widen or narrow the bands, lengthen or shorten the garment, change a style element. This is the time to make it your own. You will need to figure out how to assemble the garment yourself, since you're basically drafting your own pattern, which is why it's a great thing to do with a relatively straightforward shaped garment like this bolero. But you can absolutely use this method for more complicated garments too. Want to watch me sew a version of this bolero in a future video? Let me know in the comments. And in the meantime, check out this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon with more vintage sewing.